to our heart, just to settle into the chair, settle into the session. Take a couple of deep breaths in and out. And yet, by all means, use the blocks to make sure you're nice and comfy on the chair. But if you can breathe in and out through your nose, then that's great. But if not, breathe through your mouth. It's important that we breathe. We'll start by bringing our hands just to our lap and bring your ear down towards your shoulder. It doesn't have to go all the way. Just until you find a nice stretch. And then once you're in a nice position, take a breath here and we can roll the chin down so we're looking between our knees. We'll take a few breaths here, letting the back of the neck and the back of the shoulder stretch. And then we'll look straight forward. We'll bring the other ear down towards the other shoulder. And just while you're getting into that nice neck stretch, I'll also say, if there's anything that doesn't feel comfortable, any sharp pains or anything like that, by all means stop. You can always ask me for different options, but for most things there'll be a couple of options as to what we can do. And we'll roll the neck down, and then we'll bring our nose straight up to the ceiling. Get a little bit of a stretch in the front of the throat. And then we'll look straight forward again. Bring hands to knees. And we're going to do a couple of cat-cows. So for the cow, we'll inhale, we'll bring our chest forward, take the bum a little bit back, look slightly up. And then for cat, we're arching our back, bit of rounding our stomach in on an exhale. So inhale into cow, and exhale into cat. Inhale into cow, exhale into cat. And we'll do one more. Now, one more cat. Then we'll come to a neutral spine. Bring your arms up towards your ears. Before we probably should have sat you a little bit further apart. Is that okay? We don't want to be belting each other in the face. I never know how long keeping dance are going to be. Move our arms. Rub. Bring your palms together. If it's comfortable, you can flip your hands the other way. And we're just going to sway a little bit, like a palm tree, left and right, maybe a little bit backwards and forwards. And then we'll unclasp our hands, bring the left hand down to the side. So you can either dangle it there or you can hold onto the chair for a little bit of stability. And we'll just bend gently over to one side. Take a breath here. Exhale, we'll come back up, and we'll do the same on the other side. Take a breath here. We'll come back up. This time we're going to bring the right hand down to the left knee, bring the left hand down. And we're just going to turn as if we're looking over our shoulders, so we're not pulling with our hand, we're just using the muscles of our back to look over our shoulder. And then we'll come through centre and do the same on the other side. We'll come back to centre. And we're going to imagine that we're swimming. So we're going to start doing a bit of front crawl, which I can't do in real life. And you'll flop around and inhale loads of water. We'll plant next to it as well. And then we're going to do a back crawl. So for the back crawl, you kind of rotate your palms outwards at the top of the floor, brushing her body a little bit. And then we'll just shake out our arms. Keep an eye on the time. We're all good. We'll bring left leg up and we'll flex the toes towards our face. And point the toes. We can keep the knee a little bit bent if that's quite hard on the hamstrings. We're mobilising the ankle rather than getting a big stretch in the hamstrings. And then we can draw a circle with our toes. We change direction. And then we'll swap our feet and do the same on the other side. We'll flex the toes towards the face, and then we'll point our toes. Bring it in. Point the toes out. Bring back in. We'll point, and then we'll draw circles with the toes. And then change direction. We'll bring that foot down. Move a little bit forward in your chair and we'll bring a heel to the floor. This time we are keeping this leg quite straight. This time we are going to stretch our hamstrings so we can have feet on the block if you need to. And we're just going to lean slightly forward over that leg. Give the hamstring a bit of a stretch. We spend a lot of time sitting in chairs. It can get a bit tight. Then we'll bring that foot back in, swap over, and just lean a little bit forward to get a hamstring stretch. Not overstretching and keeping nice and stable. Then we're going to bring both feet in. We're going to lift one leg and the opposite arm. And then we're going to swap them and swap them again, then again, and again, and again. I'll do one more time on each side. I think that's even. And we'll come back down to hands in our lap. If you take one of your blocks, so if you bring your feet together and put one block to the outside of your foot, and what we're going to do, so we've got a couple of options here. One option is to just lift the foot up to the top of the block and then lift it down again. One option is to lift it to the top of the block and bring it to the other side, and then coming back again. Or expert mode is lift it all the way up and all the way to the other side. Do a couple like that. It's quite hard on the hip flexors. It's not a set of movements we do that often. We'll do one more, and then we'll bring the foot inside. We'll bring the block to the other side of the other foot. And we'll do the same on the other side. So whichever option worked best for you, or it doesn't have to be the same option. Most of us have one strong leg and one leg that needs a bit more work. We'll do one more like that. Bring your foot in. Now we're going to take both blocks. We're going to bring them either side of the chair leg. And we're going to bring our feet onto the blocks, so we're in a kind of goddess pose. except we've got a seat under us, so it's as much as when we're standing. And then we'll bring our arms into cactus arms. And then if you want, if you've ever seen the pictures of the Indian goddesses, they often look quite face. So you can. And then we'll bring left elbow down to left knee and stretch up the right. Take a breath here. Come back through cactus. Going air is optional. And we'll come back up the other side. Take breath here. And we'll come back down. And then we'll bring our blocks together. Just in front of the chair. Bring the soles of our feet together. You might want to sit a bit forward on the chair. And let your knees fall open, so kind of opening the hips in that direction a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of his. It's like Balankonasana is a kind of coupler's pose. But really it's just, rather than getting a big stretch when mobilising the joint where it doesn't always go when we're spending a lot of time sat in chairs. We'll bring our legs back in. Bring the feet to just the outside of the chair leg and bring your knees as together as they will go. And then the thighs are twisting the other way, so we've got a little bit of movement in the other direction. Bring feet back to the floor. We don't need the blocks, but if it's comfortable to have your feet on the blocks, these chairs are quite high. My legs are dangling a little bit, so we can use them just as footrests. You can bring our arms out and wide, stretch out the fingers, make yourself as big as possible. Take a nice big breath here. And then we're going to bring the arms down in front of us. We're going to cross right arm over left. If you can kind of double cross them, then that's great, but if not, just one cross is fine. And we're going to slightly, gently lift up the elbows and bring the elbows forward. So you should feel a stretch in the back of the shoulders. Just go as far as the stretch is a nice stretch. It should still be comfortable. And then we'll untwist the arms, twisting the other way around. One way will feel weird or weirder to you. And again, slightly lift the elbows, slightly bring them forward, stretching out the backs of the shoulders. Take a breath here. We'll untwist the arms. We'll bring the arms down in front of us. Imagine you've got a couple of weights here. We'll do our weightlifting. We'll start with some bicep curls, up and down. And if you wanted to do this at home you can get the little neoprene weights, or you could use a couple of tins of beans, chickpeas, or whatever. And the next time you bring your hands down, we're going to pretend we've got a plate of biscuits in each hand, and we're serving it to somebody, and then we'll burden the other plate. Fruity. You've clearly served biscuits to people before. Holding our hands together, and we've got a big wooden spoon, and we're stirring a nice big pot of soup. And then we can stir in the other direction. And with your hands still together, bring our hands up and over our head if we can. And we're going to bend the elbows and straighten them. So working the triceps, so the opposite muscles to the biceps. And again, you can do this with a weight if you want. It makes it a lot more difficult though. And we'll do 2 more like that. That's 3 more, isn't it? I can't count. We'll bring down the arms, crochet. But the next section, there's going to be options for standing up and being supported by the chair. There's also options for remaining seated if you would like. So what I will do is I'll demonstrate the seated option first and then the standing option, and then we can all do it together. And we might all be doing the same one, but that's fine. So we're going to start with a warrior pose. So if you're seated, you'll shuffle around in your chair. You'll bring one leg back, watch out for your blocks. Then you'll bring your arms. Or if you're standing up, it is a little bit easier to demonstrate, I feel. Because we just get the chair in front of us. You send one leg. We can hold on to the chair. We can bring one arm up, or we can bring both arms up if we're happy with balance. But if we all do that together, stand if you would like to, or sit if you would like to. And if we're all standing. Okay. Thank you, Sarah. So if we all stand up nice and tall, bring our left leg back, bending the right leg slightly. And we can either keep hold of the chair, or we can bring our arms up if we don't need the balance of the chair. For one arm. And then we'll bring arms back down to the chair. We'll step forward, we'll step back with the other foot. If you ground your heel to the floor, you get a nice stretch all the back of the leg, but it doesn't have to be on the floor. And again, we can lift up one or both or none of our hands. And then we'll bring our hands back to the chair. We'll step a little bit closer to the chair. I'm going to turn around for the benefit of the camera. We're going to lift our heels up, so we're going on tiptoes, and slowly come down. And if that feels like too much, you can just do it with one foot at a time. But lift up, and then we slowly come down. Good for the tendons at the back of the foot. We'll come to the side of the chair. We'll take a nice wide stance. Bring arms out, and we're leaning over towards the chair, but I'll move those for you. Health and safety nightmare. But we should feel a bit of a stretch in the inside of this thigh. And then we'll do that on the other side. So we can just turn around. A nice wide stance. And then just reach down for the chair. And then our last standing pose, for which you might want lots, but I can distribute lots as we need. Again, we've got options. There's always plenty of options that you can do. But then come into a tree pose. So one option is to just bring your heel to your ankle, have the knee nice and out. Another option is you can put a block under that standing foot so you're slightly higher. That gives you a bit more emphasis on the balance. Or you can bring your foot to your calf. Then your options with hands are keep hold of the chair or bring hands to heart centre, again depending on confidence in balance. So if you find an option that suits, if you still want to hold the chair, you can bring one hand to heart centre as well, so you still get the feeling. Take a breath here. And then we'll come back down. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Although I can't see what you're doing now, so I'll just turn around and see what you're all doing. That's great. And then slowly bring your foot back down to standing. We can come back to the chairs. So we'll come back down to the chair. Take a deep breath in, and we'll do a couple of cat-cows like we did at the start of the class. So on an inhale, we'll lift your chest, look slightly up, stick the bum back. On an exhale, we'll pull the belly in, look down between the knees. Inhale, into cow. Exhale, into cat. I'll do one more inhale. One more exhale. We'll sit up nice and straight on the chair. If you're comfortable doing so, you can close your eyes or you can just soften your gaze so you're maybe just looking at the floor. Then we'll just spend the last minute following the breath and letting that little bit of stretching and mobilization settle in. As you breathe in, just notice that you're breathing in. As you're breathing out, notice that you're breathing out. Don't worry about anything else. Blink our eyes open if they're closed, or look straight up again if we're softening our gaze. Just give your arms a bit of a shake, and give your legs a bit of a shake. And if you would like, you can bring your hands to heart centre, sealing your practice, and we can bow to each other. And thank you all for your company. Thank you. Thank you.